especially in Hungary, table tennis skills were developing rapidly in the early 1930s. Footage of Hungarian star Laszlo Belák reveals early European advances in backhand and forehand technique.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to introduce to you the Hungarian champion, Mr. Belák, and the German champion, Mr. Majaroglu. Now, we are at the final of the gentlemen of Tennis Club Balgold.
The flamboyant Belák would be finalist in 3 world championships.
Belák, Budapest!
Victor Vana, table tennis' most legendary figure, would win 22 world titles, including 5 men's singles.
2 Hungarians are finalists in the Table Tennis Championship, a sport which that country has made its own, for Fred Perry is the only man other than Hungarian ever to win the singles. These 2 champions are Zabados and Bana. This is Zabados in close-up.
Zabados had won the 1931 World Singles title, defeating Bana in the final.
When you play this at home, you don't reckon to get injured much unless you run back into the fireplace, but in the World's Championship, the ambulance man has to be on the alert. Anyhow, play after that really was magnificent. Shooting from this angle, our cameraman is able to show you, despite the smoke from nearly 10,000 cigars and cigarettes, how the masters played a game that looks so easy but is so difficult. How they make the ball twist and spin and swerve in the air. In fact, do everything except a rumba. The score in the 5th game goes to 18-all before Bana pulls ahead, and a superb shot makes him world champion again.
The Yankee team of Ship and McClure give their Hungarian opponents a lively lesson. Uncle Sam winning.
In Wembley's Empire Pool, the finals of the British Table Tennis Championships. England's Victor Vana and the bespectacled American Marty Reisman clash in the men's final. And what a battle it turns out to be.
Vana's famous backhand flick is still a factor in this 1949 English Open. A week earlier, Reisman had reached the semi-final of the Stockholm Worlds. He'd go on to win 2 U.S. Open titles and become one of America's most charismatic players.
Both men have won 2 sets, and this is the decider. Youth pitted against experience. Subtle tactics against dashing speed. The first American, only 19 years old, was not even born when Bana had already won his first world title. And this is it. Bana's backhand flip may win him the title again.
The 37-year-old Vana's superb all-round skills are still evident in this, his last international final.
But youth tells in the end. The vigor of the teenaged New Yorker is the winning factor, and Marty Reisman is Britain's new table tennis champion.
Victor Varner would retire from singles play as the winningest table tennis player of all time. From 1937 to 1953, 4 players would dominate world table tennis. Richard Bergman, Austria and England. Bohemil Vanya, Czechoslovakia. And Ferenc Shido of Hungary. Johnny Leach, Great Britain.
With the men's finals, England is nowhere in the picture. The battle is between Richard Bergman of Austria on the far side and the Czechoslovakian world singles champion B. Varner. For the best part of an hour, the game goes hit for hit, with curly-headed Bergman continuously angling for position to make his devastating smash, and Varner retrieving everything. Yes, he does. Don't argue. In the last game, veteran Varner goes ahead, and it looks like the end. But then Bergman spurts to take 8 points in a row. So Dick Bergman is the new champion.
At Wembley, the Table Tennis Championships of England. Dark-haired Richard Bergman, the newly crowned world champion, meets Michel Hagenauer of France in the men's final. After a thrilling opening, Bergman comes out leading 2-1, and now turns on the pressure in this, the decisive set. Though he loses this point to make the score 20-8, the Englishman is now at his best, and with nonchalant ease gets ready to smash home the winner. England champion for the 4th time, Richard Bergman keeps the title at home.
For championship table tennis, or ping pong if you like, we give you this exciting exchange in the European finals between Austria and Hungary.
Bergman faces Ferenc Schoch in this 1938 Swaveling Cup match.
Table tennis, or ping pong if you like, we give you this exciting exchange in the European finals between Austria and Hungary.
Bergman faced Ferenc Shido, the triple world champion. Despite his size, Shido displays the delicate touches of the master. Shido took the first set 21-19, Bergman at the far end, then square the match.
Bergman would win the prestigious English Open remarkable 6 times.
In a grim last set struggle.
In this match, it's Bergman versus 9-time German champion Conny Freundorfer. To combat Freundorfer's roll and pick offense, Bergman uses his up-to-the-table half volley and his exceptional long-range retrieving defense. Bergman was the most tenacious of all players. His miraculous comebacks earned him the nickname Richard the Lion-Hearted. It's Bergman and Vanya again in this 1946 English Open final. From the age of 9, Vanya had been a product of Prague's Sparta Club of soccer fame. Vanya's most effective weapon was his outstanding forehand drive. He also had an excellent defense with a snap of the wrist chop. Vanya tried to end the point as soon as possible, a technique that years later the dominating Asians would call the third ball and fifth ball attack. Bergman would try to attack, but to no avail. This was the pimpled rubber game of the 1940s at its very best.
Vanya, playing in a hairnet, is the winner in 3 straight games.
In this first World Championships after the war years, Vanya would again dominate as he had in 1938. defeats 20-year-old Ferenc Shido in the final 3 straight. Bohemil Vanya, table tennis player extraordinaire. In this semifinal of the Paris Worlds, Shido would defeat 4-time U.S. champion, New Yorker Lou Pagliaro. Shido's game would blend a first-class defense with a powerful forehand and backhand drive. Pagliaro relied on a long-range defense laced with very heavy backspin. Pagliaro was a competitor in the finest sense of the word. Much of Shido's career is still ahead of him. He will win the World Singles in 1953 and reach the final again in 1959. Wins and advances to the final. Shido will lose this Swaithing Cup match to Murakami of Japan, but before this Worlds is over, Shido will defeat Murakami, Ogimura, and Chinese champion Wang Jianyao, before losing in the final to Jung, the first of the Chinese world champions. Shido was one of the few European players that years later the Asians would fear. Countless times he would bring the stadium to its feet with his sensational style of play. Lanky Englishman Leach would lose this semifinal to Vanya. But 2 years later, Leach would take revenge against his wiry Czech opponent by defeating him in the final at Stockholm. That would be the first of 2 world singles titles. Leach had an all-round game with excellent ball control, a world-class defense, and a consistent attack from both sides. He was in wonderful physical condition and had a fierce competitive nature. Johnny Leach was a dedicated champion, a credit to himself and to his country.
The men's singles final was a terrific battle between Richard Bergman and Johnny Leach. It was a great match in which Johnny Leach did most of the attacking. Bergman, who had already held the title 4 times, is almost impossible to beat. He always seems to get the ball back, and he has plenty of aces in hand as well. Watching this tremendous rally, it's easy to see the difference between ping pong and table tennis. This is tennis with a capital T. Richard Bergman in the 50-minute battle taught us all a lesson in how to win. He received his prize as top boy. The men's doubles final was between Leach, wearing slacks, and Carrington, England, far side, and Harangozo and Dolinar of Yugoslavia with the eye shake. This was a very lively affair, contested at a sizzling pace, with both sides attacking vigorously. After a tough battle, victory went to the Yugoslavian pair.
In Bombay, the 19th World Table Tennis Championships reached the final stage. Hiroji Sato of Japan, who has not lost a single match since his arrival in Bombay, created history by becoming the men's singles champion of the world in his very first attempt. He won in 3 straight games against Joseph Kosyan of Hungary. To add to the other trophies going to Japan, Hiroji Sato claimed the same prize vase.
Sato would be the first pen holder to win the world singles title and also the first champion to use a sponge rubber racket. Ogimura, who used pimple rubber over sponge, would win 12 world titles, including 2 world singles.
Ping pong as the experts play it. World champ Ogimura of Japan, far side, battles Sweden's Flissberg. Bitter rivals in the title tournament, this is a revenge match staged in Germany. And again, the Japanese takes the lead. No title at stake, but they're out for blood. This point goes to the Scandinavian challenger. Both players have plenty on that tiny ball. Ogimura, now on this side, scores with a sizzling return. The tide turns in the final set. Flissberg beats the champ with this kill shot off the corner.
Lightning reflexes, astonishing agility, and ball control. Technical skill, fitness, determination, and conviction. Ogimura had it all.
It was the very first time that the sponge bat had been used by both players at Wembley when Ogimura of Japan met Frisberg of Sweden in the finals of the men's singles. There were moments of sparkling table tennis, but for the most part the Japanese had the better of his opponent. The winning shot by Ogimura gave Japan her third world title. The Dowager Lady Swaythling, president of the English Table Tennis Association, presented the trophy. In the final of the women's doubles, Diane and Rosalind Rowe played against Kathleen Bess and Anne Hayden. The famous Rowe twins were up against some tough opposition. This soon became the most exciting game of the finals. The brilliant Rowe combination with their careful positioning and rapid-fire tactics quite dazzled the 11,000 spectators. It was also the twins' 21st birthday, so they made it a double celebration by winning the final game 22-20. They certainly deserved the trophy.
She's Anne Hayden, the left-handed international, and she just made a brave attempt to become the first British girl to win the world singles title. In the quarterfinals, she beat Kochan of Hungary 3-2. In the semi-final, she easily dealt with Zeller of Romania, and the title was in sight. The final with Michiguchi of Japan was a tremendous encounter. Level 2-all, the decisive game was a thrilling climax. It went to 19-all before Anne's defeat. A bitter disappointment for her, especially as she was a close runner-up for 2 other world titles as well.
Tanaka, playing with smooth sponge rubber, would be Ogimura's greatest rival, defeating him in the world final in 1957. Tanaka played with sheer brute force, had acrobatic footwork, and was an early user of the high lob. He would win 2 world titles with his amazingly forceful style. Rosiano, Romanian superstar, would win an astonishing 6 consecutive world singles in the 1950s. Rosiano earned the reputation of the greatest woman player of all time. Zeller were world women's doubles champions in 1955 and 1956. Has solid all-round game. His table game and his excellent defense were loaded with pace and backspin. His stamina was inexhaustible. European champion Zoltán Bőrcik would defeat Ogimura in this English final. Singles in 1959, it would be the first world title China had ever won in any sport. Jung's greatest assets were his brilliantly consistent forehand drive and his extremely effective backhand drive and table game. Were won by Ogimura, Murakami over Stipek, and Vininovsky of Czechoslovakia. Satung, the Chinese wonder, had incredible speed and power from both sides. He became the most uncompromising and efficient hitting machine that table tennis had ever seen. Chuang would win 3 world titles in a row, defeating the brilliant Li Fu-yong in the finals each time. Extraordinary players would emerge from Sweden in the 1960s. Hans Elsa and Kjell the Hammer Johansson. Both European champions, these amazing athletes would win 2 world doubles titles and make Sweden a permanent factor in world table tennis.
Of Korea, Kim Chong-tong met the world title holder, Japan's Nobuhiki Hasegawa. Hasegawa, back to the camera, takes the first set. Several thrilling rallies are a feature of the second set, with both players pretty closely matched. Match point. Hasegawa remains undisputed table tops.
European champion Eberhard Schürrle, the last of the great defensive stars, had lost only 1 match in 11 days before this final, in which he led 2 games to none and was within 2 points of the world title. It was sheer determination that enabled Ito of Japan to come back and win the world title in his first attempt. This World Men's Doubles Finals at the Calcutta Championships in 1975 would be regarded as one of the great doubles finals of all time. Secretan, 17-time French champion, is seen here in a 1983 Swathling Cup match against Sweden's Mikael Appelgren. Secretan, one of Europe's finest players for many years, had extraordinary table tennis skills. Defending world champion Guillaume, up 2 games and down 16-20 in the fourth, mounts a move to close out this world singles title against Waldner of Sweden. Waldner, nicknamed the Magician by his peers, is generally regarded as Europe's greatest player of the last decade. 2 games to 1 and 10-3 in the 4th game, Kong pulls off a sensational comeback and wins the world title in Beijing in 1995. The competitive ping-pong infant of the 1920s has grown through the years into Olympic adulthood. Table tennis forges ahead into the 21st century.
Watch her as her belly glides. Her conscious thoughts smooth delight.